right, YouTube, coming to you out of Detroit, Detroit's HPTV. I got a story I want you to see. And in this story, um, a 14-year-old teenage girl, she set up, allegedly, an 8th grader on the school bus to be deleted by several other teenage boys that came on the bus, tried to do him, you know what I mean, but the gun jammed like 3 times. And what she did was she dropped the location and said that the 8th grader was the last person on the school bus. So this story hasn't been getting a lot of attention, but I want you to think about the story when you see it, about how these children behave. This is under the Fair Use Act commentary. Like, share, and subscribe to the video. Check it out.
Moments on board a Prince George's County school bus when 3 people got on that bus and pulled out a gun.
And Diggs, head of the bus drivers union, describes a ruthless attack.
Pulled the trigger 3 times, but for some reason, by the grace of God, the gun didn't go off, and bullets flew out of the gun.
Environment for our students, that is during school and also to and from school.
The head of the drivers union wants more security and says the driver and aide thought they were going to be killed.
They're terrified. The one driver doesn't want to come back to work.
Incident happened right around the same time as 3 teenagers who were wearing masks got on a bus and tried to shoot a child on that bus, but the gun didn't go off. Are you still looking for these young people today?
Well, we have arrested 2 of those individuals. We are looking for a third. We are actively looking for them, trying to locate a 14-year-old whereabouts. We don't think it would be that difficult, so we know that people know where a 14-year-old is at.
This is really bizarre.
Yeah, very. A 3rd teenager appeared in front of the judge today, charged in that attempted school bus murder. You can see it all going down in this video here, and the details are just really upsetting. These 3 boys appeared wearing masks and hoodies pulled over their heads. They got into a school bus in Oxon Hill. They pushed right on by the driver, went up to a middle schooler, put the gun to his chest, and pulled the trigger 3 times. Thankfully, nothing happened because the gun jammed. The teenage girl who was in court today, however, was not in these photos, but prosecutors say that doesn't mean she isn't just as guilty.
And how dangerous this could have been.
Yes, generally here, the majority of the kids involved are 8th graders. And this is very, very dangerous. Now, normally, hearings involving juveniles are not open to the public, but in this shocking case of attempted murder by children, the young teens are charged as adults. So with this surprise arrest over the weekend of a girl we were all completely unaware of, there's yet another hearing today that was open to the public, and what we're learning, again, is chilling.
A gunman shot and killed a woman in the hallway of a Northeast apartment building. It happened today on Jameson Street in the Fort Lincoln neighborhood just after 11 a.m.
And for the shooter.
And when they arrived on the scene, what we found on the actual 4th floor of this apartment building was an adult female suffering from a gunshot wound to her body, to her face, at that time. And so we're still really investigating. We're looking through the cameras to actually figure out what happened.
2 residents of the building who declined to go on camera told News 4 they heard 1 shot and hit the ground inside their apartment. Others said the woman was shot outside in the hallway near the elevators. The motive is unclear.
There is preliminary information that there was sort of argument that led to this shooting, but I don't want to, we need to vet that, and we need to get the videos to understand exactly what happened.
Raise money to relocate her family out of town.
We're living in fear. I need to get him as far as I can from this area, and we don't ever need to come back. I just want him.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. The woman that they say was deleted, that was shot in the face, was related to one of the teenagers who went on the bus to try to shoot the 8th grader. Now, as adults, we have to ask ourselves, what could we do to help secure these children, man. At this point, 3 teenagers get on the school bus and attempt to delete an 8th grader coming home from school. Then one of their sisters is shot in the face while they're looking for the other teen that had the gun. The story is deep. The story is deep because these are all kids. And it's systemic of what's going on in the community, that these kids would actually wait for the bus, the school bus, to drop other kids off, and then at a stop get on the school bus and attempt to shoot an 8th grader. Then the story comes out, when you look at the story, they saying that the young lady, the 14-year-old girl that they arrested, was the one who texted them and told them that the little boy was on the bus and where to meet when the bus stopped. So she set up the location for it to happen. And ironically, one of their sisters has been allegedly, shot. One that the grown lady that they say was shot in the face. So at this point, they're looking for the 15-year-old that was on the bus that they said had the gun, and they're looking for him as a suspect in the shooting of the adult. I mean, what's going on with the kids? I mean, you look at the parents on OnlyFans, TikToking, Facebook, dissing, you know what I mean? The parents of these children, they really dropping the ball. These is kids. These is kids charged with these crimes. Let's listen to some more for this story.
Caught and off the streets, he is wreaking havoc. You showed me the chain, took it right off him quick.
Family, we truly have a very sad situation we need to discuss. But not only for the victims, but for these 8th graders who are allegedly the perpetrators. We gotta stop past the nation capital, Washington, D.C. We got a D.C. rapper who's 15 and kids in the 8th grade carrying out hits. And the crazy thing is this. Can you believe 8th grade little girls is giving out drops that's causing people to lose their life? Apparently, later in the video, you'll later find out that an 8th grader female had gave a drop on a kid who was on the school bus who almost lost his life. But since that incident, family, more has developed. Like the title say that brought you here, family. The 15-year-old suspect who's on the run for taking out the life of his co-defendant older sister only 2 days after the school bus incident. So as you can imagine, we got a lot to unpack. So before we go over this one, remember, family, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to jump right to it. Because of his age, authorities didn't release his name. But meet Baby K, a 15-year-old DC rapper. Less than 48 hours ago, authorities claim he had a connection with the 23-year-old young girl who lost her life in the hallway of an apartment complex. May she rest in peace. But before we go over that situation, let's briefly discuss Baby K and why he recently made headlines on the first day of May. As we mentioned, Baby K was a rapper. He was 15. He managed to have about 2 music videos on YouTube that have since been taken down. His most popular song was a song titled Dragon, which is a DC term for basically carrying him.
You said I was geeking like shit with that G26. Hold on. What you geeking for?
This story is crazy because the 15-year-old rapper, you know what I mean? You hear what they're saying. The 15-year-old rapper allegedly shoots the older sister of one of the other teenagers 2 days after the bus incident. Now, mind you, these are all 15, 14-year-olds, 8th graders, school bus stuff. You know, black people, if we can't see that there is a systemic problem with our youth, I mean, they don't care if they live, they don't care if they die, they don't care if they go to jail. They'll do anything for clout. They really caught up in this matrix. They really caught up in social media, YouTube. They caught up in everything while the parents sit back idly and act like, you know, they don't really see a problem with what's going on in the youth. The pastors at the church ain't talking about it. The so-called black leaders are not talking about what's going on with the youth. But obviously there is a purge on black youth because at the rate that they're dying, and ain't nobody speaking on it. When you watch Facebook and you watch like your other social medias, you will see people that all week long or a month long, they sneak dissing other people. They saying all kind of salacious things on Facebook, and the moment tragedy hit, they're on there telling you to pray for them. Think about that. People been dissing and acting evil all year long, and then when tragedy happens, they want you to pray for them. I wonder if they ever thought that your enemies and the people that don't like you already praying for you. They praying for your downfall. They praying for something to happen to your kids. They praying that you get what your hand called for. That's what they praying for. You know what I mean? That's why you'll never hear me go on social media and say, pray for me or pray for my family. Because you can best believe that a lot of y'all out there got people praying for your downfall. For real. And rightly so. And rightly so. Because nobody cares about these children. You're not going to care until it's your child or towards your family member. And then here goes the pray for me and pray for my family. No, we're not doing that. Because at this level, nobody really cares. I reported last week about all the professional black women that were deleted in different circumstances. There's no outrage. There's no concern. People still playing gender politics, still weren't worried about whether you're going to be Democrat or Republican. And at the same time, you're being replaced by immigrants who are going to take your jobs, bring their gangs to your community, and you're going to be fighting, living amongst Mexicans and other immigrants who don't have no respect for black people or black culture or what black people consider culture. Because this looks like culture to them. Let's listen to some more of this.
Now that song was just released 2 months ago, but only a month after shooting that music video, according to authorities, Baby K will be the one with the Goosebumps hoodie and also the firearm brandish on a school bus alongside 2 other teens ages 14 and 15 trying to take the life of another teen that was on the school bus on his way to school.
And scary moments on board a Prince George's County school bus when 3 people got on that bus and pulled out a gun.
And this comes at a time when there are heightened concerns about student safety region-wide. 7 News Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell live for us in Suitland. What a scary situation here, Brad. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, look, absolutely terrifying. This seems to be a straight-up targeted hit on a middle school student. Fortunately, the gun didn't go off. I've been talking to some drivers here at this lot. They're telling me they are terrified. It happened late Monday afternoon on a bus carrying students home from the Prince George's County Alternative Middle School. A 14-year-old boy, attacked by 3 others, rushed aboard at a stop. The attack happening here along Iverson Street. The bus pulling up, stopping. One girl gets off, but the 3 others jump on the bus and immediately pull out that gun.
This was an attempted murder. Plain and simple. Let's call it what it is.
Martin Diggs, head of the Bus Drivers Union, describes a ruthless attack.
Pulled the trigger 3 times, but for some reason, by the grace of God, the gun didn't go off, and bullets flew out of the gun.
Multiple sources confirming the bus's onboard video system recording the whole thing. A point-blank attempt to shoot the middle schooler in the head, and when the gun didn't fire after 3 tries, a physical beating before the attackers ran off.
We are outraged as a district, horrified that this incident did occur.
Oscar Coleman is associate superintendent.
I'm gonna play enough of this. You can find the story on the news, or you could just Google and find out what's happening with the story. But the reason why the story is important is because it's systemic of what's going on with the youth and adults, and the so-called black leadership have no answer to the violence. You know what I'm saying? I reported on these type of things all last summer. You know what I mean? When the federal government was saying that it was going to be the bloodiest summer of a generation. And I don't even know. I mean, have we forgotten what all happened last year? Have we forgotten the women that were shot, the older black women that were shot in New York, the 9 by the white boy? Have we forgot all the lives that we lost in our community last summer and over the last several months? And again, we approaching Memorial Day, and we approaching the same type of system or systematic violence that we're going to see going on in Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, California, everywhere black people are. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to just keep talking about the gender politics. That's what we like. We like the gender politics. We like to talk about how women ain't shit, how men ain't shit, and go back and forth with that while the children are dying and suffering at astronomical numbers in every black community. So I'm signing out of Detroit. I want you to investigate this story for yourselves and look into it. Peace. Keep your head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.